Janet always says to me, and the buck stopped with Mayer. So in other words, this collaborative effort went into, and then there was one guy who decided at each studio it's working or it's not working, or did they have marketing meetings? I mean, I wonder how.
Oh, I think. Oh, I'm sure they were full of marketing meetings. I mean, you went to. They had these huge conventions that came out. I can remember the 20th Century Fox conventions. I thought they were terrific. I was just a kid. You can see Turner has all those the MGM material of the conventions, which are fascinating to see. To see the Daryl Zanuck was newsreeled up the bazoo. I mean, there were newsreels of everything. You know, there he was covered. He was covered right, left, and center. When he went to war, you could see these wonderful things where he says, stuff. I mean, there were newsreels everywhere, about the studio made stars of their executives too, or those executives made stars of themselves, because that helped them in their deals with the company that they were working for. I mean, the public thought that Louis B. Mayer was Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Well, Louis B. Mayer was a hired man, and MGM was the property of Lowe's Incorporated. That was the holding company. And therein lay all those tremendous battles between Schenck and Mayer. Who knows what would have happened if Irving Thalberg had lived, if he would have survived the office battles for power, stock, options, more money.
The other thing that really struck me was when I looked at the anniversary photograph that Janet's in of the players of MGM. It's a small number of people. It's not like they had a Margaret O'Brien A, a Margaret O'Brien B. I mean, she had a stand-in, but they didn't have all these backup children. They made their choice, didn't they?
Well, no, there were backups. There were. The great Rosalind Russell used to say, that she spent 7 years at MGM, hit the brass ring at the end of the career with the women, and that made her a superstar. But then she was, her contract was over, and she had her own huge star career as a freelance artist. But she was used as backup for Myrna Loy. Louise Reiner was. They were always these chess games going on with Betty Davis, for instance, at the peak of her career. When Now Voyager was going to be made, it was at the very peak of her career. Wouldn't you think that the studio said, this is for Betty Davis, right? Not on Your Life. That movie was initially for Irene Dunne. They wanted Irene Dunne to play it. Then Norma Shearer, who turned it out. Betty had to go in and fight to get Now Voyager, the biggest star on the lot. When, by the same token, she did not want to make films like Deception or Beyond the Forest. She thought they were not right for her, Beyond the Forest being the last that she made at that period at Warner Brothers. And the fights were terrible. When Olivia de Havilland came back from being in the biggest film of all time, Gone with the Wind, right? And that's Clark Gable, Vivian Leigh, Leslie Howard, Olivia de Havilland on loan out from Warner Brothers. When she went back, Jack Warner punished her so she wouldn't feel too important, and gave her billing below the title. I mean, all of these games went on.
Well, the game even in the MGM commissary of the A actors sitting in one section and the B actors in another section. I didn't realize that the luncheon facilities.
Oh, it was a caste system. Everything was a caste system. But it was all. It was always those the visits to commissary were just astonishing. I mean, because there you were in the middle of the legends. I mean, there were. You'd trip over Spencer Tracy and Clark Gable and Katharine Hepburn. I mean, it was mind-boggling.